Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Tuesday the 14th of December 2021. Today in Millwall News we have the latest information released by Millwall Football Club in terms of the COVID restrictions that will be introduced at the Den on Saturday the 18th of December for the Preston North End home game. It is required by law now. There was a vote in Parliament tonight, and although there was a large Tory rebellion against the introduction of COVID vaccine passports in England, the Labour Party sided with the government whilst they seemingly criticise everything they do, which is weird, but they still vote with them for the things that they're doing. So we are stuck with what we are stuck with now, and we go on apparently at least for the next 6 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. They said it was for 6 weeks and they'll review it after 3 weeks, which means beginning of January, probably the first, what would that be, probably the 3rd. I think the 3rd is the first, I think it's Monday the 3rd of January 2022, so that would be the first working day of January, so I assume that's when they would review it, one would assume. But it is intended to be in place for at least 6 weeks. And let's hope they realise after 3 weeks that they made an absolutely pointless introduction of measures which do nothing for something that isn't that problematic. So what did Millwall FC say? So this is quite an popular page on Millwall's website. You can see on the left hand side how many views this page has had. That's 5,336. That is a large amount of views for something released on the official site, because no offense to the official site, it usually is quite late in publicizing things. Normally the things they talk about are already announced elsewhere in terms of South London Press, News at Den, just random people on Twitter as well, even on some of the fan sites as well. So no offense to the official site. So for them to get such a large number of views on a story is important. So Millwall Football Club has now received legislative guidance on Plan B COVID-19 restrictions. As communicated previously, proof of a negative lateral flow test or vaccine certificate is now a requirement for entry to matches at the Den. Please click here for instructions on how to obtain either. The government guidance issued on Monday night stipulates that the vaccine cards presented after your jab is not permissible evidence, and you therefore will need to download the COVID pass as per this guide. Yes, you will need to download the NHS COVID pass. So if you do not have a smartphone, you are dumb out of luck. And that piece of paper that they give you is not good enough, because apparently what everyone said when they announced that they were doing that little card is that can be forged. People are forging passports and banknotes. They can forge that freaking piece of card. Like, come on, what are you doing here? This is like stupid. And yeah, so they're not accepting that piece of card. So that's completely useless. You might as well wipe your ass with it and flush it down the toilet. Supporters without smartphones. Why haven't you got a smartphone? It's 2021. But apparently there are people out there. I'm joking, of course. I can understand why you wouldn't have a smartphone. Supporters without smartphones can obtain a letter from the NHS which proves their vaccination status. Instructions on how to do this are also available by clicking here. You can also obtain a letter by calling 119. Wow. So how is that going to get to you in time for the game? Oh no, hang on, let's read the next paragraph. The club appreciates that it will be difficult to receive any new letter by this Saturday's game, and in such cases a negative lateral flow test result will be sufficient. So even though if you had that, if you're fully vaccinated, which keeps changing by the way, if you've had 2 jabs, apparently from February they're going to say 3 jabs is full, 2 jabs and a booster is fully vaccinated. So you're not going to be fully vaccinated quite soon. I hope you do realise that. Yeah, that's so you're just a 2-jab nobody in a couple of weeks if you don't get that booster. So if you have been vaccinated but you can't download the NHS COVID pass or prove it, or I saw a Millwall fan from Australia saying, well, can I prove it with the pass that I have from Australia? Because they're in town for the game. They'd come here for Christmas. They are hoping to see 2 Millwall games over the Christmas period. I imagine they're here to see family. And how's that for them? It's completely screwed. Not only that, but they're worried they might not even be able to leave the country. So, but here's the thing: the club appreciates that it will be difficult to receive any new letter by the Saturday's game, and in such cases, a negative lateral flow test will be sufficient. So, even though you've been vaccinated twice, and at the moment you're fully vaccinated, which will change, but you're still going to need to take the test and then go through all that stuff to get that verified, so that you can show someone you can show one of the stewards on minimum wage as you go into the ground, wearing your mask. By the way, you need to wear a mask as you go into the ground. You need to wear it all the way in, up the stairs if you're in up sections, and then only as you get into your seat can you take it down, while you're usually sitting next to someone to the right of you, someone to the left of you, someone in front of you, someone behind you. You're more packed in to other people in the stands than you are on the concourse. But none of this makes any sense, so we do as we are told, don't we? As well, the club can now confirm that supporters under the age of 18, you mean children, do not need to present any such evidence. Oh, that's nice of them, isn't it? Showing their season membership card or match ticket will suffice. So if you are a manlet or a little, if you're in your early 20s and you can pass for 18, I would say buy yourself a kids ticket and get in that way, because you will be saved a lot of hassle. In a change to previous communications, the COVID checks carried out by staff will now take place at temporary turnstiles first installed early last season. These are situated at the Zampa Road and Surrey Canal Road gates. All foot traffic should pass through these two entrances. The Stockholm Road entrance is for vehicles only. This adjustment helps to ensure a wider COVID secure environment within the entire stadium footprint. As said before, supporters are politely advised to arrive earlier than they normally would to help ensure prompt and efficient entry through the checkpoint. The club again requests that supporters are understanding of the fact that these restrictions are government legislation and therefore legally enforceable. They are not the choice of the club, and we therefore remind fans to please respect and work with staff who are carrying out checks. And let me just summarise that final paragraph up. We were just following orders. Why did you burn all the Jews in the concentration camps? We were just following orders. Why did you shoot all those people in the street at Peterloo? We were just following orders. We were just following orders, so it's not our fault because someone in authority told us to do something that is morally reprehensible. But we did it anyway because we were just following orders. Ain't that the truth? And there you go. Millwall Football Club is just following orders. So please, don't blame them. Please don't blame them. So there you go. Yeah, it's coming up to be a complete fucking shit show. And not only that, but Jed Wallace may be injured, so what's that going to do to the team now? Now all of this is just off the field rubbish, but if after going through all of this stuff, all of this trouble, all of these extra steps and infringements to getting to a football game at Millwall, the fans get served up the kind of shit that was shown them at Peterborough United last weekend, it will not go well. It will really not go well. Presumably for Gary Rowett, but maybe for other people as well. You never know. The fans were openly chanting, criticising en masse against Gary Rowett's boring shit football. To summarise the chanting that they were doing up, they were not happy at all. And if they don't get a performance out of the players this Saturday, after going through all these hoops, I can see it just building and building and building. So I think it might be best if the game was just postponed. I know some games have been postponed this week. We've had the Brentford game today was postponed. Brentford versus Manchester United. Monday night's game, Sheffield United against QPR, was postponed because of an outbreak in the Queen's Park Rangers team, I believe. And I think the number of positive tests seems to be largest in London. So maybe some Millwall players are they might be getting it. You never know. So maybe it might be best if the game was postponed. But there you go. So if it does get postponed or not, we do not know. But some things already have been postponed. Yes, they have. So what's been postponed? So on Wednesday mornings, the club have been doing these open mornings when anyone can go into the club. They get free coffee, free tea, and I think there's some free biscuits or something there, and you can go and talk to other fans. I think it's only like 2 hours a day or whatever, but it's something to do apparently. Some kind of like a drop-in centre. So they've cancelled that, the one for Wednesday, tomorrow, 15th. And they announced this early in the afternoon. So I imagine because there would be really no point if you had to go. You have to wear a mask. You're going to speak to random strangers with a mask on. That's not going to be any good at all, is it? It's completely. It's not open at all. It's closed off. So that's been postponed. Now what else? Something else has been postponed. What has been postponed? This has been postponed. Millwall U23s professional development league fixture against Swans official, that's Swansea City FC, on Monday the 20th of December has been postponed. Now that's a long way away. That's 7 days away, but they postponed it already. Which is interesting, isn't it? It is interesting. Now that was due to take place at Swansea, and that wasn't at Millwall. So it might be because Swansea just called it off because they don't want to take any risks with people travelling or whatnot. Because, like I said, there are a lot of games being postponed. Well, not a lot. There are games being postponed. Like one today, one on Monday. I think there was one. The Brighton game, was it Brighton Tottenham as well? That was was that on Sunday? I'm not too sure. I don't follow Premier League that much, but games are being postponed. So maybe they don't want to take the risk with the first team. We're having an opposition under 23s team visit their training ground. Not that I don't know what they're gonna do. But yeah, so this is postponed. Now here's the thing. If the rules that were in place before, if they're still in place, is if a player tests positive, he is out for 10 days. So if we've already got a few injuries. We've got Ballard out, Leonard out. Saville's got a back problem apparently, but he's still on the bench, which Go figure that. Ben Thompson's there playing for the under-23s, but Savills got a back injury, but he's on the bench for the first team. How does that work out? Anyone tell me that? Why you got injured players on the bench? Let him fucking rest and relax. Don't let him schlep all the way up to Peterborough if he's fucking injured. When you're gonna have him on the bench and not even play him. Put Ben Thompson there and not play him. So, like I said, if there's a COVID outbreak, we will be without a player for 10 days. So that could be problematic for us with our injury-ravaged squad. The the best players in the under-23s are all out on loan. I don't think they can be recalled until January. So I don't know how many players it takes for you to have your game postponed because of COVID, but I assume it's more than one. So if we get one player with COVID, you want to get the other players around him and get him spitting in their mouths or something, because it's going to be very very hard for us to do anything if we're forced to play a game with players missing through COVID, or maybe even 2 games. Yeah, and like I said, if we've got players missing from that Preston North End game, you got all the fans jumping through all these hoops to get in, and then we get served up shit on the pitch. It's not going to be very pretty. Not very pretty at all. So, for some reason, I'm going to move on that. For some reason, this popped up today from News at Den. I think maybe they forgot, because we're halfway through December now. We're on the 14th of December, 14 days into December, and they've just decided to publish a story about November Millwall Player of the Month, which they do through their rating system. That if you go on News at Den after a game, you can rate the players, and there's some pretty funny ratings on there. They're usually like 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10. Millwall fans ain't playing in terms of dishing out the blame and the love. They really pile on. So Bartosz Białkowski was the Millwall Player of the Month, voted for November based on Lions fans' votes, and he got an average 6.8 score for November's games. He was on the losing side once in 5 games, and produced more spectacular saves to add to his highlight reel. He got just above Billy Mitchell on 6.72 and Danny McNamara on 6.6, as Garrow outside maintained their challenge just outside the top 6. So there you go, that's it, short and sweet. And that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Join me in tomorrow's video to see what extra nonsense has been published in terms of how you can get into the game on Saturday. Goodbye.